Hi, welcome to the Platinum Kitchen. My name is Andrew Clark and it's Feature Friday. Today's feature is the Platinum Temp Alert and why it's so important to preparing your foods properly. And we're gonna start at the very top. So right here is our Platinum Temp Alert knob. This is all made in Italy and comes with a lifetime guarantee. One of the key things with the Platinum Temp Alert is right here, which is our heat shield. Now what happens no matter what you're cooking in here, if you're boiling water for spaghetti or you're frying anything or you're preheating, this heat shield actually does its job. No matter how hot the lid gets, you can put your finger right on this heat shield right here and it'll be slightly warm. That tells you that it's doing its job. It's deflecting the heat away from the knob. Why is that important? The reason is because if you have something on here that's been cooking for a while and it's getting very hot and you come over and you want to grab that lid and oh my gosh, if that knob is too hot, that's very dangerous. But with this, no matter how hot the lid gets, no matter how hot the utensil gets, you can come right over, grab that lid, and this will always stay room temperature. Now that is better than the best, okay? On here, we have our temperature gauge. What happens, it doesn't matter what you're cooking. If you're doing fresh vegetables, fresh carrots, fresh broccoli, soups or stews, or a whole chicken in here, you just put the lid on like that, you turn your stove to medium. Once our temp alert gauge, once it rises to 60, you reduce the heat to low. That's it. There is no touching the lid to see if it's hot. There's no spinning the lid to make sure that you have a water seal. All that is automatic. It's all automatic on here. You literally just put the lid on, never have to touch it, turn it to medium. Once that gauge reaches 60, you reduce the heat to low. That's it. This works 100% of the time. It will always work. One of the key things also up here is that you never want to have any valves or any steam valves up here. The reason is because that's where the moisture escapes. When the steam valve goes or any valve starts to go off, that's moisture leaving your food. Now why is that important? Because you always want to have a sealed container because you always want to keep all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients in the food. Nothing escapes. You don't want anything escaping. And that is also better than the best. So we're going to show you how accurate our temp alert knob is and that it actually takes the temperature on the inside, which is very important. We have some water in here. It's about 2/3 full, just some cold water in here. We're going to put the lid on here and we're going to turn the stove to medium. We're going to show you up close, that when the gauge, which is right here, when that gauge reaches 60, we're going to remove the lid and you're going to see the water is just misting. It's just kind of misting and it's definitely getting warmer. We're going to put the lid back on and we're going to wait until that gauge reaches 80, almost 100 degrees. We're going to show you when it reaches 80 degrees Celsius. We're going to take that lid off just like that. You're going to look and you're going to see that the water is still just misting, although it is getting warmer, it's getting hotter. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna show you that when it's between 80 and 100, right at 90 degrees, we're gonna take that lid off and same thing, that water is just misting. The reason is what temperature does water boil? At 100 degrees Celsius and 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So when our gauge reaches 100, once it reaches 100, we're gonna take that lid off and you're gonna see the water is boiling. And that tells you how accurate our temp alert knob truly is. But when you cook with this, when you cook your fruits, your vegetables, anything, you turn that on to medium. Once that gauge reaches 60, you reduce the heat down to low. And that is how we have proven that using the temp alert and the platinum cooking method, that we are able to increase the nutrition in your food by 70%. Now, that is definitely better than the best. So come on and have a look, and we're going to show you how that temperature gauge rises, and at each point when we take the lid off, it will not be boiling until it tells you that it is boiling. Once it reaches that 100 degrees Celsius, 212 degrees Fahrenheit, we'll take that lid off and you'll notice that the water is boiling. Now what does that tell you? It tells you how accurate the temp alert knob is and that it does take the temperature on the inside. Come on and have a look. At 80 degrees, the water is not boiling. It's at 80 degrees Celsius on the inside. We saw at 60 degrees, the water was not boiling. At 80 degrees, the water was not boiling. And now at 90 degrees, the water is not boiling. And now at 100 degrees, the water is boiling. That's how accurate the Platinum Temp Alert is. It takes the perfect temperature on the inside.